here. Definitely tweet that to Brad so we can figure that out. But we do see Aaron on the left, Taylor on the right. We'll be starting our semifinals here, and keep in mind after this game, we'll be giving away 6 months premium. I'll have a real barn burner of a question for you.
If 3 months of premium is 9,000 episodes of the curve, how much is 6?
Well, I'm not good at math, so let you.
We'll figure that one out later.
I'll give you a pad of paper, and you can.
I'll grab
numbers.
I'll get my calculator.
Okay, fair enough. We can figure it out together.
All right. So as these players shuffle up, I definitely just I don't know why, but Aaron reminds me of Matt Costa, and Taylor reminds me of the guy from, a lot from Arrested Development. If you can see it.
Well, there's a lot of guys in that show. So.
Well, I don't know what his name is.
Well, that's clear. We established that already.
He's the son.
Michael
Cera? Cera, yeah.
Michael Cera. He does have a little of Michael Cera.
Son,
Actually, he has a lot of Michael Cera to him. All right, I'll give that to you. He's got a lot of Michael Cera to him.
Oh, for sure.
That's legit. I can't argue that. So I guess we can just change the name to Michael Cera there.
Can we change Taylor's name to Michael Cera?
It's rather
I bet he would not appreciate that.
Yeah.
Nor this conversation.
You think he's gotten the Michael Cera joke a time or two?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. It's just like I've never been called Cedric the Entertainer before. That's fresh and new to me. So anybody at home who wants to tweet Cedric the Entertainer, feel free, as I've never heard that one before.
Is that your self-claimed title?
I would never self-claim that title. Do you know who Cedric the Entertainer is?
No.
Oh my Lord in heaven. What have I just started?
What's Cedric the Entertainer?
It is a comedian. Yeah.
Was he funny?
It's debatable.
That joke wasn't.
Depends on your sense of humor.
All right, so the game is starting. We got an untapped land. Usually what Night Blitz is going to do. And we're starting with one of the better one-drop. Well, the best one-drop.
Yeah.
And I see a burning tree.
So we're going to see Sacred Foundry on both sides here. Both players are going to start at 18, and Taylor has a champion that perished on his own, but his is going to be outclassed very quickly.
Yes.
As you do see Aaron untaps, he draws. You see Mare of Everbrook in his hand. You see another Sacred Foundry, so he's going to go down to 16 here. He doesn't mind taking those points damage, and let's see what his follow-up is going to be. As he's getting the dice ready. You better believe that bad boy's growing. And we're going to get out probably our white dice there to help represent the game status. He is going to play.
Since he doesn't have a green source, I see Mare as a decision, as well as Lightning Mauler.
Yeah. And he's going to go with Mare because he does not have the green land, so that's going to pump Champion up to a 3-3. 4-4 from Mare, and it's just a turn to attack for 4. Whatever, no big.
I mean, we used to do that with Steplings.
Yeah, it's like no big deal or whatever.
No.
So he just pass the turn back, so Taylor's going to untap. He's going to draw. And he finds a Knight of Infamy in his hand. He's going to have to go down to 12 from a Blood Crypt. And we're going to see Knight of Infamy, protection from white, key here. Very
big play for Taylor. The only issue with that is the Birdie Tremor still is a 3-3. And if any of these aggressive creatures come into play and attack using that Lightning Mauler, he is going to take more damage.
And so now we are going to see a Thalia Guardian of Thraben, and that is going to pump up that Champion of the Parish even more. And so now we're going to see an attack here, basically forcing the issue with the block.
Yes.
And then if he don't have any really good blocks from the Burning Tree Emissary.
Yeah, most Naya Blitz players do need to know combat very well, and I love this attack. A lot of people were like, oh, he's just going to block there, so I'm not going to attack anyway, holding back in defense. But that gives him the option to 2-for-1 if he wants to take that Burning Tree Emissary out.
Yep.
Already on the back foot, Taylor has to come out with something very powerful. Orzhov Charm doesn't do anything since the Thalia's in play, but shutting down both white creatures on Aaron's side might be just enough to stabilize.
So you do see a second Knight of Infamy. It's going to pump that champion into a 3-3. And, this is part of the reason that I think Sam Black and the rest of Team SCG did play Boros Reckoner, because we are playing against these hyper-aggressive decks, some of which that Tamaro Saito was posting on his Twitter, and you even see this version of a hyper-aggressive deck in Naya Blitz. Reckoner was a card that just helps stabilize the board. And without those in this deck, you see it's just a world of difference, as you don't have that card who can stabilize things and basically make the opponent 2-for-1 themselves to get it off the table.
Yeah, that's exactly it. As we see Aaron, he drew a frontline medic, desperately needed a green source or a third land just to get that into play. The deck doesn't run that many red-white sources without green, so he's got a lot of green sources to draw into to play cards like Flinthoof Boar or Frontline Medic.
And so you do see 2 copies of Boros Elite in his hand as well. So even if he doesn't have very good attacks this turn, which I would say that he still does have pretty good attacks, you know, he still can just deploy 2 Boros Elites and really just put. Looks like I guess yeah, he only has 1. I see a
frontline medic.
Yeah. Okay, so we do see a Lightning Mauler. So my apologies there on the confusion, but he could have deployed a Boros Elite, but he chooses not to.
Curious if this has paired with something.
Doesn't look to be the case. Maybe holding steady. Maybe hoping to draw it land so he can partner with frontline medic and get some battalion indestructibleness going on. But here comes that same attack that we saw last turn. That is a 5-5, actually a 6-6 champion of the parish. 4 counters, 1-1, and then the mayor is going to pump it as well. So we'll see some blocks here.
He'll gladly trade a 3-3 Burning Tremor for the potentially bigger 3-3 champion of the parish.
All day long. And he will pass the turn back. So Raflowitz will draw a card. And stabilizing in this situation is certainly difficult for Taylor. Again, without Boros Reckoner, you see he has a lot of Ravnica dual lands in his hand as well. Has another Godless Shrine in his hand, and he just played 1 tapped. He's going to play a Skirkstag High Priest, which is outclassed by just about everything on the table right now. So Aaron draws, and he does not find a land. It's an Experiment 1.
Sitting at just 9 life. Looking at the position, if we play Elite, pair, and attack with everything, what happens? I guess we won't attack with Mayor, but yeah, he's just going to send. He wants to get this damage, and he does not want Taylor to take over this game.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Boros Elite is a human, but we did not see Champion tick up a counter to have 5 counters on it. So it looks like he missed that, playing a little bit quickly. As we are going to see some blocks here. Lightning Mauler going to get 3 damage across because that is a human. You'll see Knight of Infamy take down that Thalia. And you'll see that Skirkstag High Priest bite the dust. So you have to question how useful was that attack that turn.
Well, yeah, it did get that High Priest to trade with a Thalia. High Priest with any removal spell, if Aaron doesn't attack for 2 straight turns, then he starts making 5/5s and finishing the game real quick in the air. He wants to keep Taylor on his back foot to get time to get that frontline or Flinthoof War online.
And so we do see Raflowitz. He does have a Vault of the Archangels in his hand. You also see that Godless Shrine, and his follow-up is going to be a Lingering Souls. So not a bad draw there.
No, that is a very good card for Taylor. And now because that Thalia is off the board, he's able to play End Flashback. Instead of costing him 6 mana, or 7 mana, it costs him 5, excuse me.
So we do see some chump blockers here. And maybe Taylor considering going on the offensive with one of those Knight of Infamies, getting in for 4, just something under consideration maybe?
It's fine because you have to play around Frontline Medic, and that's the only card that would just make you decide that. Because I usually like attacking. Mayor can flip. Frontline Medic can come down. You want to be aggressive when you can against a deck like Blitz.
Now you see Aaron draws another Experiment 1, so he has not drawn a green source of mana in his deck again. These Naya Blitz decks do have plenty of those. 4 Stomping Grounds, 4 Temple Gardens, a Rootbound Crag, 2 Sun Petal Grows, and even 4 Cadmus Souls, as you do name human often in this deck. Well, we're going to see attack here with that large champion of the parish, with that Boros Elite plus battalion, excuse me, and with that Lightning Mauler.
So I definitely think he's going to try to use these Lingering Souls tokens to take down at least the Boros Elite, but that and the Lightning Mauler.
Well, the funny thing here is that he can simply, chump block that champion of the parish with a Spirit token, maybe double block on the Lightning Mauler, and then put those 2 Knight of Infamies in front of the Boros Elite. And, he's going to lose some of his spirits, but he can also play conservatively this way. Just do some chumping, lose a Spirit token, and you're going to see Mare flip into Howlpack Alpha.
And keeping a big board is pretty good when you have something like Vault. So in response to the flip, he is going to Orzhov Charm to make sure instead of losing 3 life, he loses 1.
Yep. And so now you do see Raflowitz. He's going to draw a card. He's going to play a Champion of the Parish, his second one of the game, just a measly 1/1 right now. But he is trying to just create a critical mass of blockers so that he can actually start getting on the offensive with that Vault of the Archangel. Yep. So now you see him reaching for those Lingering Spirit tokens.
Feels safe to attack with 1.
Yeah, it doesn't feel so bad. Yeah. I can get in with 1, right?
It's okay. I don't need that.
Yeah. And so he does come across for 3 in the air because of the double Exalted trigger. So now he's starting to go to work on his life total a little bit. But he finally draws a Stomping Ground, does Aaron.
Little late deck.
Yeah. But is it too late? That's the question.
Yeah, it probably is not. That vault is going to be scary for next turn, but Frontline Medic gives your team this ability called Indestructibility.
Yeah, which is a pretty good one. Unfortunately, we have Lightning Mauler paired up with that Boros Elite, so we can't do the awesome attack this turn.
Yeah, we'll have to wait, let him set up. Or
he's going to go with Flint of Boar.
All right, I can dig it.
That's a little bit surprising, but he does want to keep the pressure on. Taylor just being at 5 life, maybe cause a little bit of maybe some troublesome blocks here.
All right, I think the decision is maybe he's hoping that Lightning Mauler does not die this round.
So we see Taylor put a Spirit Token in front of the Lightning Mauler, which is now a 2-1, no longer a 3-2, because Mare of Everbrook is gone. Also, that Boros Elite is going to be a 3-3 in combat, not a 4-4 like it was previously.
All right, well, this is going to clear off most of Aaron's board except for his Flinthoof Boar and his champion. But as we can see, the rest of Taylor's board can dispatch those pretty easily.
So you can certainly feel the pendulum swinging here back to Taylor's favor. That Lingering Souls was a huge, huge turn. Value was really shutting that down. But it looks like he is turning things back in his favor, and he just wants to be able to finish turning that corner and start putting Aaron on the defensive somewhere Nia Blitz never wants to be.
Yeah, once you're on the defensive, you have already lost, unless you were trying to draw to a Searing Spear, and that's something Aaron might be doing. We see him just elfing, but he's maybe just trying to let himself get Taylor to 3 and find a Searing Spear. He's not going to beat that vault. He's not going to beat the top decks that Taylor has in his deck because they're more powerful than Aaron's individually.
Yeah. Nia Blitz, basically a swarm deck. All the cards do work very well with each other, and of course that's obvious when there's Battalion involved. But these cards on your own, as you said, are not particularly good. This is a combination deck. But it's just a lot of creatures that work very well together. So you do see a bunch of creatures trade off in combat here. Nine of Infamy standing tall. So we do see Taylor untap. He's going to draw a card.
Yeah, he sacrifices tapped Spirit for a second.
Yeah. But our board state looks good. And let's see what Taylor does have for this turn.
Well, at least one land and one spell.
So he is still on the defensive. And we're going to see Godless Shrine come into play tapped.
Yep, definitely want to get those lands into play tapped since you have a vault. Don't want to bluff too many cards.
And so now you see he does just pass the turn back. So still on the defensive, not ready to keep bashing in just yet, as Aaron does draw another Champion of the Parish. 2 Experiment Ones, a Champion of the Parish, and a Frontline Medic in his hand.
Definitely a difficult decision for Aaron. His opponent is just passing, which is not a bad place to be. So, if you were in Aaron's spot, what would you play? Would you Frontline Medic him?
I think personally, I want to start off with just an attack with the Flinthoof Boar, and then see how things go from there. But you see, he is going to Frontline Medic, and he's just going to pass the turn back.
If he attacks with the Boar, doesn't it just trade with the Spirit Token?
Yeah, I mean, it trades with the Spirit Token. I mean, it does get that off the table. So, I mean, that attack could be very poor. It does trade with the Vault activation of the Spirit Token. So I guess maybe just by playing Frontline Medic and passing the turn back, now you're basically shutting Vault off and making that a non-issue. Yeah. So I think that this play's probably best. Yeah,
you're threatening that Boar, but with that Vault, if Taylor says go and Aaron does attack, what Taylor can do is just put both Knights in front of the white creatures, activate Vault, and actually gain a life.
Yeah.
So we are not out of the woods yet for Aaron. He does need more creatures than this to start dealing damage to Taylor.
And so now you see Taylor racking his brain, saying, oh man, I was hoping Frontline Medic would not show up to the party. I was doing so good, but now you have Battalion and Indestructibility? Ugh. Ain't nobody got time for that, Brad.
Nobody got time for that. Also complaining about how he's got to work the banana stand later tonight.
Yeah, stinks. Really just... a rough beat. But if he hasn't made enough money here, making top 4, there's always money
in the banana stand.
So now we're going to see Knight of Infamy come across 2 Exalted triggers. An aggressive attack.
Very aggressive.
I kind of like it.
With a Vault activation?
This has play to win written all over it. And so we see... I saw Aaron tap that Champion of the Parish and go, no. Pro-white, my friend. I don't think so.
Wow. I could never do this. I want to see if this line works out. He looks confident in it, too.
And so the interesting thing here is that For Taylor, I'm fairly sure he has a tragic slip in his hand. He's just dying to get Morbid active so he can take care of that frontline medic. I think that's what this attack signifies. He's hiding his last card very well, but taking a look at Taylor's deck list, he does have 2 Tragic Slips, and so you do see that, and now you're going to see Tragic Slip take care of the champion of the parish, so he's going to get that off the board. You see the trades, you see the vault activation, he does pass the turn back, so a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, he gets back up to a healthy 9 life. That Temple was a great draw, though. That's going to allow him to play all 3 creatures and threaten, yet again, another Battalion Indestructible turn.
So he's going to want to lead off here with Champion of the Parish into Experiment 1. Experiment 1, make that champion into a 3/3. As you see, LeBlanc is going to go down to 9. He's going to lead off with that champion.
Yeah.
And here come Experiment number 1 and Experiment number 2.
All right. Now we're going to pass the turn and hope to draw something that turns on these Experiment 1s.
Yes. So Taylor does draw a card. What do we draw there?
It's just a champion.
That's not too exciting.
I thought it was an aristocrat.
Yeah, you got really excited there, but that is just a champion of the parish.
I thought it was a lethal aristocrat. All right, so yeah, Taylor's just going to have to pass the turn. It's such a rough board state now. Only can block 1 creature and that will survive combat. He'll be able to gain 2 life from that, but all the rest of his board just dies.
Yeah, and this is where you see frontline medic really begin to take over, and you see Taylor really just going, man, I have this vault. I wish I could do something to really take over this game. I don't really have very many good attacks. I don't really have great blocks. Kind of agonizing over things here, and it is a very, very difficult situation to be in.
Yeah, frontline medic definitely is your plan B. He just limps the rest of your team over the finish line.
Yep.
No matter how weak or fragile they are, they'll never die with a frontline medic.
And it looks like he's going to come in again with this Knight of Infamy. Yes, he is. So you're going to get an Exalted trigger here. That's going to be a 3/2 that's coming across.
I mean, this is an aggressive line. This is how he wins. This puts him, if Aaron doesn't block, this puts him in position to gain life, gain 3 life, and chump block and find a Falcon Wrath of Aristocrat. I love this line. Now, if Aaron does block with his 2 Experiment 1s, he's going to not use his vault and use the vault to defend against 2 3/3s that will not have battalion.
Yeah, I absolutely love this attack. He's certainly in a difficult situation here, but he's doing everything he can, is Raflowitz, to just play to win this game. It's very easy to just kind of bemoan your luck and say, ugh, frontline medic battalion, I can't do anything about this. And you see now LeBlanc has to consider so many different options. What's this attack represent? Am I overthinking? Am I underthinking? Why would he be doing this when, I'm pretty far ahead on the board? And now, Brad, we might see that double block that you talked about, and he doesn't even have to use the vault now.
Yeah, and I wouldn't. This would force Aaron to draw a haste creature, which are in his deck, but Taylor is just playing to his outs right now, and I love that attack. The only thing that I wouldn't have done is just, played the champion before doing all this.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a great attack. I love this attack. The block from Aaron isn't even bad because he does have to be afraid of that Falcon Wrath Aristocrat, and he can't take too many shots from that hand.
And so now Aaron does draw his card. He draws a Burning Tree Emissary. And so you see that he is just going to pass the turn right back. Raflowitz draws his card. Silverblade Paladin is the draw step.
All right, so what can he really... He's not going to be able to activate that vault this turn, but it's not going to be as crucial because we do have Battalion online next turn. Do we give our flyer double strike, or do we just hope to draw a Silverblade Paladin next turn?
Oh, we will see
Falcon Wrath Aristocrat.
Yeah. So we do see Silverblade Paladin is going to join the party. It's going to pump that champion up to a 2/2, and we'll see if Soulbound is going to happen right now. And he's going to partner up here with that Spirit token, so he'll slide that over there, and we'll see if we do see an attack. Because right now on Aaron's side, Brad, you see a 3/3, a 4/4, and a 2/2, so that's going to equal 9, which is exactly what Raflowitz is at.
Yeah, Champion of the Parish is going to have to get thrown under the bus next turn.
And so now you do see an attack here. 1/1 double strike.
Yeah, that drops Aaron to 7.
Aaron draws a card. See what it is.
Don't see what it is, but
feels like a land. Feels
yeah,
like
it does feel like a land. But I do feel like we need to attack here. But if he does, That is 6 damage coming in with lifelink from Taylor next turn. Taylor has put himself in the best position this entire game. I might even go back over this game and analyze it. I think that Taylor has been playing flawless Magic.
Really, really, really good game here. I mean, he was getting beaten down early, badly. You know, made some good blocks, traded creatures in combat. Now he's, you know, he was trying to turn the corner once, wasn't able, trying to turn the corner again in a situation where it did not look like he had the ability to turn the corner. An easy situation to try to, you know, keep playing defensively and give up in. But now he's putting just all this pressure on LeBlanc to be able to analyze these game states correctly.
Yes.
That's exactly what he's doing right now. He's making these attacks that are really making Aaron scratch his head. You know, am I supposed to block with this foot four? Am I supposed to double block with these experiment ones? Like, what's going on over there?
And this is exactly when I went back. I assumed Taylor knew combat well by playing the Aristocrats, and he's just showing it in the semifinals.
Oh, this is a spell. What spell is it? It is a frontline medic. It's going to pump that champion up to a 5/5, and are we going to see attacks this turn or not here from LeBlanc? That's the question.
They have to, right? Like, we have to just be aggressive. Next turn, your opponent's going to have 2 double striking Death Touch lifelinkers.
And here what comes?
All right, so are we just tagging with 2 guys to have that throw our Burning Tree Emissary underneath the bus? Make sure that we don't die to just a removal spell. If he does attack with the Burning Tree Emissary, it will take down. There's no block for Taylor that will keep a creature alive. So yeah, I do feel like the correct attack is to attack with all 3 creatures. Now, if Taylor is able to keep a guy alive by blocking Burning Tree Emissary, or be able to take it all and attack back through a removal spell, then we might make a different attack.
So now you do see the 3 creatures attack, the Battalion triggered by the frontline medic, so these guys are all indestructible.
Alright, so yeah, we're going to see champion run right underneath the other champion. One's been going to the gym, the other one's kind of been slacking off.
So you do see champion is going to bite the dust here. The draw that he has, Brad, I finally figured out. He has 2 Zealous Conscripts in his deck.
Oh,
I finally figured it out. What does he draw? What does he draw?
It's not Zealous Conscripts.
I was trying to think of what he could draw for the longest time. I forgot he had 2 in his deck.
Yeah. He slams those cards. We saw it from the last match. He couldn't get that card out of his hand faster.
What did Raflowitz draw this
And that's
turn?
what Aaron was seeing if he should play around.
I'm dying to know.
Yeah, I'm dying to see.
I'm really dying to know what this card is in this hand.
I feel like it's nothing, but if he just gets 1 point, he might be playing for that Zealous Conscript. Like, if he can just get 1 point and survive. So let's see here. He can gain 4 life going up to 8, but there's 8 power attacking if he just blocks the champion of the parish. So that is not a viable option unless he drew a 1 or 2 drop, so he could also vault. He's going to have to block with both creatures. I guess no, the Zealous Conscript is still lethal with the champion.
Look at that Silverblade Paladin feel a little frisky. He's going to jump immediately on that. You're going to see a vault activation here.
Yeah, that'll only be 2 life.
Yeah, so he's going to go up to 6.
And that's just enough to survive combat again.
And so you're going to see Raflowitz. Looks like he has at least 1 land in his hand. Can't tell if that's 2 lands or not sure.
Get those
you see a Cavern of Souls, and I'm not sure what that other card is. Okay, it looks like it's a swamp, so he's going to pass the turn back. So Aaron's going to untap. He's going to draw. Looking for a top deck.
Just need something. He's just
Rub
like,
those hands together. That's scary.
don't want more of this.
That's scary. If you're Taylor, that's scary. Rubs those hands together. As we know that he has cards like Gorthland Rampager and Searing Spirit in his hand, and now he's moving around in a frenetic pace.
You know he top decks.
You know that's not a land.
Last turn he draws, tanks, looks sad. This one is just like, all right, we got there. And now this is something I do too. Whenever I have the win, I make sure like 4 times in a row. Especially in a very tight game.
Certainly, you want to be sure of what you're doing. I think the conclusion that Aaron came to is, I have like this awesome attack against a 1/1 double striking spirit token, and it's not lethal. It's 5. It's not 6. And here he comes. So you're gonna see Taylor jump in front of the champion of the parish. You're gonna put him down to 1. You see a little bit of frustration here.
He doesn't have anything. We need a hasty creature.
What does he draw?
Any hasty creature?
Oh!
What a great game played by Taylor. He did everything he possibly could have to stay in that game, but we still saw Blitz take it down. So, Aaron is up 1-0, but Taylor is up a game in my heart.
Yeah,
because that was a very good, well-played game.
Yeah, so LeBlanc certainly had to earn that one, but he did earn it. So he wins game 1. This match is even close to over with Nia Blitz over Raflowitz playing the Aristocrats. So we're going to cut back to the booth here because we've got 6 months of premium to give away before we get back to that exciting match. So let's make this quick here. Easy to play. Hashtag your answer at SCG Premium. I'm going to ask you a real toughie here. And again, 6 months for the person that does get it right. We'll choose from a group of winners. It is, of course, about accuracy, not speed. And the question here is within Aaron LeBlanc's Nia Blitz deck, he does have all creatures and 3 spells in his deck. They are all the same spell. And if you're able to name that 3 of spell that he does have in his deck, tweet that answer to hashtag SCG Premium. We'll select one of the winners. Again, it is about accuracy and not speed.
If they can't figure it out, can I give them a hint?
This time, no hints.
No hints?
No hints. It's too easy. It's too
easy.
No hints.
You need 2 of these to kill a Dark Tusk.
Wow. Wow. Gives it away.
I did not give it away.
Don't smile at me. Don't you smile at me.
Don't
you smile at me. The question was so easy, you just made it easier. But of course, if you are able to get that correct, of course, we'll give away those 6 months of premium after this round is over. We're going to cut back to the match as the players are sideboarding, looking at each other's deck list here, getting the information. Raflowitz playing a fantastic game 1, but not able to come out on top. And we're going to see LeBlanc's sideboard here of 2 Tormod's Crypts, 3 Boros Reckoners, 3 Pacifisms, 2 Fiend Hunters, 3 Boros Charms, and 2 Gruul Charms. Last time we watched him play, we saw Gruul Charm come in, and he wasn't really quite sure what he was playing against, and it's not terrible here.
No, I think Gruul Charm's actually very powerful here. It takes care of any defensive creatures like Lingering Souls or a big board of ground pounders blocking things. He definitely wants to be on the aggressive because the Aristocrats after sideboard is going to be the control matchup. Well, to be fair, everything is the control matchup against Blitz.
Yeah. And so we see 3 copies of Pacifism. Normally you would bring that in case your opponent has a card like Boros Reckoner, but when Aaron does take a look at this deck list, he'll realize that Taylor does not have any in his deck. So those will probably stay on the bench. 2 Fiend Hunters, again, that would be for Boros Reckoner. None of those there. 3 copies of Boros Charm, more for your Supreme Verdict matchup, so those will probably stay on the bench. 2 Crypts, obviously, for your Junk Reanimator decks that no longer exist. And then 3 Boros Reckoners, which, you know, they're pretty in this matchup, but I think that those are more for the mirror than anything else. So those will probably stay on the sidelines, and we'll probably just see those Gruul Charms come in.
Yeah, I think the Gruul Charms are going to come in for the Thalies. I think 1 more card to get those Thalies out of the deck. They're not that great here. Not that many expensive spells in Taylor's deck, as well as 4 Knight of Infamies that make Thalia look embarrassing. Oh. So that's what I predict over here. On Taylor's side, it's a little bit more interesting. We have options. There's 2 Sorin, Lord of Innistrad, that are very good at just creating tokens for chump block fodder. We have another Zealous Conscripts. I think Conscripts is the card that's going to come out, but he does have a Tragic Slip and 2 Electrickeries. And now, Electrickery is a very good card in this matchup. There are a lot of X1s in the Nia Blitz deck, including on turn 1 a Champion of the Parish can be just shocked with an Electrickery. But later in the game, you get Mares, you get Lightning Maulers, you get non-combat Boros Elites. A lot of creatures are X1, so the inclusion of the Electrickeries in the sideboard was for this matchup, and it's going to have to help him get there against Aaron while he's back against the wall at 1-0.
So we are going to have Raflowitz on the play this game. Those Champion of the Parishes are going to be a little bit better on the play on the draw, and what you hear is Brad with a deep breath as Edwin Beckwith, the 13-year-old, is moving on to the finals. Wolf Run Bant, we will see some Licitator fans eat your heart out. Edwin Beckwith, our 13-year-old master, looking to show the world that it doesn't matter how old you are.
It's a good jar.
That's right. So we're going to see Wolf Run Bant in the finals. Either going to be against Aaron LeBlanc playing Nia Blitz or Taylor Raflowitz playing the Aristocrats. We will find out soon enough after this match.
That is awesome. I love Magic. This has been an amazing weekend, and I don't know where I got these bunny ears, but I'm not giving them back.
Yeah, we assume that. Don't worry. Whoever gave them to you knew they weren't getting them back. At least I did. So we do see both players shuffling up here. LeBlanc will be on the draw. Not a spot that Nia Blitz loves to be in, but You know, the Aristocrats is a deck that can't really punish you that much for being on the draw.
Let's just say Night Blitz is so good, it's used to being on the draw in game 2.
Oh, wow. Here it is. Here it is. The Blitz Barning. Can't stop, won't stop.
Nope. Could stop, won't stop.
Oh, okay. Understood. I get confused easily.
Yeah.
So we'll see what Taylor can muster this game. I mean, he put up one hell of a fight the last one, playing to every out as best he could. That last turn, he could draw to a bevy of cards. He could draw to Zelt's Conscripts in the game. He could have drawn to Falkenrath the Aristocrat at the end of the game, assuming, of course, that LeBlanc did not have anything in his hand. But, I mean, I think we can all come to that conclusion that he did brick on that last turn. So, you know, he did everything he could to prolong that game, give himself plenty of outs, and draw 2-1, but he was unable to find one in his last draw step. So we'll see what he can do game 2 here, see if he can navigate this game as well as he navigated the last one.
Yeah, the only thing I would have to say about Taylor's play in that game was just playing that main phase and then deciding to attack the Champion of Parish. Other than that, that was a pro-level game played by Taylor. I'm really impressed by that.
Yeah.
He made attacks I probably wouldn't have made.
Yeah, but don't take anything away from LeBlanc. I think he played that game very well on his end, too.
Yeah, of course he did. But he didn't have his back against the wall.
That's true. So we're going to see Taylor lead off with the Sacred Foundry. He's going to go down to 18, and we're going to see Champion of the Parish here for him. So maybe he will be the aggressor here, as LeBlanc will begin with a Champion of the Parish of his own, 18
Anything
up.
you can do, I can do better.
We'll see, as Taylor does draw another Champion of the Parish. You see a Blood Crypt, you see a Isolated Chapel, and you're going to see a Knight of Infamy, making that a 2-2, and in for 3 we go, and pro-white on defense.
Pro-white on defense is very good against a turn 1 champion. What we're going to see from Aaron is a Burning Tree Emissary into something. Now, I don't know if he's going to use that Lightning Mauler to give haste, which it probably will since he does have another one, and he is just going to attack with everything, forcing the quote-unquote chump on the champion that'll still live, and deals 4 damage to Taylor, dropping him down to 14.
So the question we have to ask ourselves here, if you're Taylor, if you're going to see him play another Isolated Chapel, is he ever going to stop attacking? As you're going to see him pump that champion, and he's going to come across here for 4 now because of the Exalted Trigger. Is he ever going to put the brakes on? As you see, he has a very aggressive draw, 2 champions, and Knight of Infamy has a Falkenrath Aristocrat in his hand, or is he just going to try to keep putting pressure on the opponent and make Aaron stop attacking?
I think he's going to have to do something in the middle there. Thali is going to put a counter on the champion. He's going to hold because he does have an Orzhov Charm. But Taylor can't sit back idle. He needs to get some damage in early because Aaron does have cards like Mayor and does have the frontline medics that can take over this game. Also, Blitz is very bad on the defense.
And so now you're going to see Orzhov Charm take care of that Burning Tree Emissary. The reason behind that is I have a Knight of Infamy to take care of this Champion of the Parish, so I don't care about that. And I've got a Champion of the Parish that's willing to trade this Lightning Mauler, so your board's not impressive to me. Get that Emissary out of here.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it is fair if he wants to trade that champion because he doesn't have any more humans. Both sides are willing to make that trade without the information.
Now you're going to see a Doomed Traveler pump up this Champion of the Parish. He's going to come across for 5 because that is Exalted Trigger. Thigh doesn't look like it has any interest jumping in the way, so 5 more to LeBlanc as he's going to draw Stomping Ground, so that's going to be 2 more, and these Ravnica Dual Lands damage, Brad, they do add up. They
do add up significantly, especially when Taylor does have such a great defensive board state right now.
So that's going to come into play tapped. You're going to see a Flint of Boar, and the first person to stop attacking will be Aaron.
And that is bad.
And now you're going to see Raflowitz. He's going to untap. He's going to draw. And unless I misidentified his hand, I believe he does have a Falkenrath Aristocrat in there. And I believe that this could be a lethal attack in the sky. But we are going to see a Cartel Aristocrat attack here. So that's a little bit surprising.
Yeah, he does have lethal in the air.
Well, and so you're going to see a double block here. So that is a 4/5. That is a 6/6.
It's a mentality. It's been an exhausting day, and he's been in a defensive mindset.
You know, simply he may have just missed it there, but that's okay. I mean, we could be wrong about the card that's in his hand as well. Did you see Aaron draws a Fiend Hunter for the turn? Fiend Hunter with no really good targets right now. Oddly enough, if it does target the Aristocrat, you can just see him sacrifice a Doom Traveler, put the Spirit in play, give protection from white.
If he sacks the Doom Traveler, the exact same thing.
And you can't even target that Knight of Infamy. So, Fiend Hunter, a 2 of an Aaron LeBlanc sideboard, looking a little bit foolish right now.
All right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the amount of time that Aaron has taken here has made Taylor realize that he does have lethal and he will kill him next turn very quickly. Have you ever been in that board state where your opponent misses lethal and then you have to play at a lightning speed to keep him from remembering it?
Yeah, I have.
You can't let him think at all.
Feeling.
All right, so what does Aaron do to get out of this board state? It is a very tough one.
So you see in his hand, he does have that Fiend Hunter. He does have a Boros Elite. Also has a Gore Clan Rampager in his hand. Taylor's sitting at 12 life. Probably going to be looking to use his life total as a resource here. Blocks will be fairly good for him because of that Knight of Infamy. You're going to see Aaron take a look at that Cartel Aristocrat there just to make sure he knows what it does. Can't sacrifice any creature, of course, to give it protection from a color of your choice.
All right. No combination of cards does kill Taylor through Aaron, but he does want to make sure he sets up for a good attack next turn. Taylor's board isn't that aggressive right now, but if he does not play a non-white spell and put it on the board, that Knight of Infamy does get to attack. Alright, so still tanking, just deciding, back against the wall.
What to do if you were Aaron LeBlanc here. You can tell that he knows that he's in a bit of a difficult situation. He's going to start off with a Boros Elite. He is going to pump that champion, and we're going to see a Lightning Mauler here. We're going to see, maybe we're going to see a pair, maybe we're not. It looks like he waved off the pair. And he does just pass the turn back.
He just shows it, yeah.
You see Faulkner throw scrap, and he realizes the mistake that he made last turn, and he said, all right, I got you, Dad.
Well, Taylor, and I like the modesty, too. I like that. He didn't try to hide it. He didn't try to draw and pretend it was a card. He's like, look, I have it. I screwed up.
Yeah.
This kid's going somewhere.
So we see him winning game number 2, and now we saw LeBlanc with his back against the wall, and now Raflowitz knows that his back is going to be against the wall this game number 3, as this is exactly where Niblitz wants to be. That's why LeBlanc was so happy that he was the number 1 seed coming in this tournament, because Niblitz is going to win game 1 more often than not, especially when on the play. Chances are they're going to lose game 2. That does happen. This deck's not great on the draw, but game 3, for it all, gets to be on the play. It's a good place to be in. So we see LeBlanc kind of going back to the sideboard. I've got a feeling maybe he's reaching for those Fiend Hunters.
Oh, yeah, we're getting those out. Yeah, those are just not that good.
That's not what I want to be doing.
He did keep the Thalia's in, a card that did not impress me there. Again, it's not good against the Knight of Infamy, as well as it doesn't get played off of Burning Tree Emissaries, which is one of your most powerful draws, championing a Burning Tree Emissary. So I do want to see that leave his deck as well, go into those Gruul Charms. But one thing that is problematic sometimes is Niblitz is an inconsistent deck. It has a high fail rate compared to most decks. So that's what Aaron doesn't want to run into, is one of those like super heavy mulligan draws.
Well, he hasn't lost yet today, so I don't think
that's true. Yeah, we're running well.
Yeah. I do not think he's going to run into those fail draws. This is a deck that does not mulligan very well either. You know, you can take maybe 1 mulligan out of 6, but if you go past that, it gets ugly fast.
No, I've most of, like, by the end of me playing this deck, I was pretty jaded to it. Yeah. But if I mulled to 5, I can see it on the spot.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's a deck that does not mulligan very well. It is a swarm deck. These cards do intertwine very well with each other, but on their own, they are not so good.
No,
but if you're able to have those good draws that involve Champion of the Parish or Experiment 1 and a Burning Tree Emissary, plus any follow-up, that's when this deck gets out of control. And heaven forbid you have 2 Burning Tree Emissaries, because that's when things just spiral out of control. So we'll see what LeBlanc is going to be able to cobble together here. As Raflowitz has played a solid 2 games thus far. A slight hiccup there with the Faulkner of Aristocrat, but he did realize his mistake right away there, game 2. Showed it to LeBlanc, and we were on our way to game number 3.
All right, showing that he is keeping those Thalias in.
But again, stay tuned. After this match, we will give away those 6 months of premium after that very difficult question I asked you. There, we'll be giving away those 6 months for one person that does get it correct. If you guys do want to interact with us, you can, of course, tweet at us at SCG Live, hashtag SCGORL. And we've only got about a round and a half left here, but feel free to chat with us for the rest of this tournament before we do crown ourselves a champion, and maybe a 13-year-old one.
That would be so impressive. I feel like I have to start playing better Magic, though.
Alrighty. Players are going to lay out their 7 cards. Game 3 will be underway shortly. Let's see what Aaron LeBlanc and Taylor Raflowitz can do.
All right, as we see Jennifer Deary, one of the SCG employees, walking by and waving at the cameras.
Everyone, I told you everyone wants a little bit of camera time.
Yeah.
Even Mike Riley back there. He loves a camera with the eats.
All right, so we see Aaron actually keeping and Taylor sending it back. Taylor knows that if Blitz has 7 cards and likes their hand, he needs something fast. Those Falcon Wrath Aristocrats that actually won him the game in Game 2 are not that great on the draw. So if he had a heavy hand of those,
gonna want to send it back. You know, his hand on the draw last game, or on Game 1, excuse me. You know, it started with a champion, which is not great on the draw, and then it followed up with 2 Knight of Infamy. That's a card that he certainly needs.
It's very powerful.
On the draw.
Knight of Infamy was not a card that I had played a single game against when I was testing Naya Blitz, but I can see having some trouble with it.
Yeah. And looks like Taylor is happy enough, and we're going to see a Temple Garden. We are underway. Game 3 of the semis between LeBlanc and Raflowitz, and he's going to start with a champion of the parish.
Just the 3rd champion in a row. Let's see if he has the Burning Tree Emissary to have the exact same draw all 3 games.
Hey, not XO on accident, as we're going to see a champion of the parish from Taylor as well. So Aaron draws a card.
Frontline Medic.
He has a Sun Petal Grove into a Burning Tree Emissary, into a Searing Spear. So it's not a follow-up guy. His champion will only be a 2/2, but that's still a pretty good start.
Fine. If he has that 3rd land, he has a Frontline Medic coming down.
Is it Knight of Infamy? It is. Okay.
Why, hello.
That was key. Maybe missing that spear. Because now you see a Frontline Medic going to pump that champion. And you're going to see that Emissary get in. 2 points of damage that way. Taylor untaps, he draws. You see Tragic Slip, the draw step for him this turn. You see a Falcon Wrath Aristocrat in his hand, a Godless Shrine, and now it's time to go into the tank. How to navigate
this entire game, and that's
the hand down. Then he puts his hand down and his hands up as he's going to take a look at Frontline Medic, and we'll bring it up for you guys as well. The 3/3 Battalion Beater with a little added on text.
All right, any fan of TF2 would know that the first time I saw that card, I instantly thought of the Medic from the game.
Yeah.
Have you ever played?
To. Oh, absolutely. I played Team Fortress. Come on now. Come on.
Do you still play?
No.
I still play.
Yeah, fair enough. As you guys do see Frontline Medic there, the Battalion, the most important thing here. There are no Sphinx's Revelation or Bonfire of the Dams to counter with that 2nd ability. And it sure doesn't hurt that it's a 3-mana 3/3 either.
No. Great card. Good way to fight Bonfire of the Damned when that card was taking over in against the aggressive decks, as well as, oddly enough, a good way to beat a Sphinx's Revelation. Yeah. Most control players have to pilot around that card and can't just run right into it. All right, so Aaron gets to untap. I do not think I'm going to see Taylor Tragic Slip before combat because he's going to have to sacrifice a creature 2 for 1 himself. So we will see some kind of combat shenanigans. We're going to see Experiment 1 get the champion a little bit bigger into a Boros Elite, getting the champion a little bit bigger. But at the end of the day, it's probably going to get blocked by a Knight. Yep. All right, so Chump Block on the Frontline Medic, dealing 2 damage through Burning Tree Emissary, dropping Taylor to 10, and he's going to use that Tragic Slip to kill off that Frontline Medic after a creature has hit the graveyard, triggering Morbid, and find some way to deal with this onslaught. And with just a Knight of Infamy and 2 cards in hand, I don't know how Taylor's getting out of this.
It's going to be very, very difficult. You see Blitz doing its namesake, blitzing the opponent, putting a ton of creatures in play that are huge. Taylor just untaps, passes the turn back.
Oh, wow, no,
There's another Frontline Medic.
There is, but he's going to respond because he has Electricity to take 2 of his creatures down.
And you do see Electricity here. Going to take down that and that. This one's alright. Triggers are going to resolve here.
Alright, and send both guys again. Block the Champion of the Parish. 2 damage, dropping Taylor to 8. What can he draw? Hopefully a removal spell for that Frontline Medic.
You see him untap, he draws, he reaches for 3 mana.
Silverblade Paladin. Or he was just stopped his actions to think.
Yeah, you see Aristocrat and you do see Silverblade Paladin in his hand, and either of those cards are going to stop Frontline Medic from just going animal here, so it's going to be a very, very difficult game for Raflowitz to win.
Well, if Aaron's spell in hand is not relevant, I could see Taylor just saying, hey, I need to just attack for 4 and hope to get there. He can, 5, 6.
So you're going to see Silverblade Paladin.
So there was an actual line where if he draws a human, he wins the game. If he just played the Falcon Wrath and dropped Aaron down to 14, because he could chump block the knight, or 15, he would drop him down to 13 actually. Yeah. So
it's possible, if he does play the Aristocrat that turn, he gets in for 5 in the air and is able to put his knight in front of the champion of the parish. That attack will be for 5 from the 13. He takes 3, 4, 5, goes down to 3, and then 5, 10.
He needs to top deck a 1-drop human.
It would be difficult to do, but it does give him outs. We're going to see champion of their parish pump the other one, and you're going to see an attack here with the 3 creatures. Frontline Medic going to give Battalion. You're going to see 5 damage come across here. So, going to be a very tough game for Raflowitz to win now.
Yeah, and I mean, he did the same thing, except he did not get that damage in with that Falcon Wrath.
So now we do see maybe Taylor did draw here.
Just surveying,
anything to get him out of the situation.
Well, I don't think a card exists for 4 mana in those colors.
I mean, Blasphemous Act is one that could certainly do it, but he does not have those.
Yep, no access to Blasphemous Act. He's not playing Boros Reckoner to get that easy win sometimes, that Miracle Blasphemous Act.
And of course, Aaron does know that, as he does have Taylor's deck list, so he can just keep extending with absolutely no fear
of a Wrath effect outside of the Electricry. Just making sure. I know Taylor thinks that his back against the wall and he's out of this game, but he's just counting just to make sure if there's any way to get this damage in. Alright, so he is just going to probably pair and pass the turn back to Aaron, since if he attacks, he can block enough and stay alive. Alright, yeah. If he attacks, there is lethal damage coming through for Aaron, and Taylor does realize that, so he's not going to be able to send any creature. Just seeing if there's any potential way to deal 18 points of damage with this configuration of creatures. If Falcon Wrath pairs and attacks, he gets an Exalted Trigger. He could then sacrifice the Knight of Infamy, making the Falcon Wrath Aristocrat a 6/3, dealing 12 damage. But no, not enough.
LeBlanc untaps very quickly, draws his card, is going to cast a Thalia, he's going to pump up his other champions, and he's going to send those in.
Yeah.
And you see, this is what makes, of course, this deck difficult, but why Frontline Medic is the all-star in this deck, because all the blocks are bad right now.
Yeah, and they can't get worse. And, like, if you have a Frontline in play, you just attack. You don't even care. You let your opponent do everything.
Oh. So we do see some blocks here. We saw Aristocrats sacrifice that Silverblade Paladin that was going to die to the Burning Tree, or excuse me, on the Burning Tree Emissary.
Yeah, nowhere allowed at this point.
That is it. Taylor Raflowitz does concede. Aaron LeBlanc will be moving on to the finals to play against Edwin and his Wolf Run Bad deck. Heck of an effort, excuse me, by Raflowitz in all 3 of those games, but it just seems like it was just too much to overcome, as we see LeBlanc able to win the Time Blitz, still undefeated on the weekend, and our number 1